This tutorial is to paint this beautiful bird on this branch with cherry blossoms. I just love cherry blossoms. Someday I hope to see them in person. Super easy. I promise you it's very, very easy. The most difficult part is taking the time to do the outline. I did the outline in ink in this Sakura Graphic 2. The tip is pretty broad. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. You can see it's really broad, but you can also make a fine line. I added some bolder, thicker lines in places, probably a little too bold over here. I got a little excited. So anyway, just do your outline however whatever pens you have. If you don't have pens, just do the outline in pencil and make it darker in some areas. So the colors I'm going to use, the colors are just so happy. It's just bursting of spring. These are all Holbein colors: bright rose, quin red, sap green, lemon yellow, quin gold, scarlet red, burnt sienna. But use any bright pinkish colors you have. You'll need some greens. You can make your own greens with yellow and blue. I've got a cool yellow and a warm yellow, and then an orangey kind of red. You can use vermilion, even cad red light, just any kind of orangey red that I'm going to mix with the quin gold to make the color for the bird, and then some burnt sienna for the branch. So let's get started. First, I want to show you how we're going to do the flowers. They're so simple to do. I've got some of this bright rose, and let's just say this is the petal, and I've painted the petal. And then I'm going to drop in some of this quin red right in the center, and then just let it blend and go wherever it wants to go. And that is how you do the flowers. It doesn't look like much here, but when you do it where you've got these ink outlines, it's going to look really pretty. I may add some more later when it dries to see how it turns out, but that's as simple as it gets, is just paint the flower petals, drop in a little bit of the darker pink, and then let it dry. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to paint cherry blossoms. I'm not going to worry about staying inside the lines. I think it looks fresh and loose when you don't have like the perfect flower. I'm going to do a couple before I drop in some of the darker pink. I'm going to use a different brush for that so I don't have to lose a lot of paint going back and forth, and just dropping it in the center. Let's drop in a little bit more. Let it do what it wants to do. Oops, picked up the wrong color. Okay, this is like a bud here, I think. It's hard to tell. Doesn't really matter. Just painting the cherry blossoms. They're just so pretty. A couple of buds here. Come in with my darker pink here. Just dropping some in. And just look how it's blending on the paper. It's just so pretty. This is such a quick and easy one to do. Like I said, the hardest, most time-consuming part is, well, one, waiting for the layers to dry, and then doing the outline. Now let's drop in a little bit of the darker. This looks like a little bud. Need some more of this bright rose. And again, don't worry about staying in the lines. It's going to just be so springy. Okay, let's add in some of this quin red. I'm just dabbing it. hard to tell what is a flower, what is a bud, what is a leaf. It doesn't matter. Look how bright this is. It's just so pretty. Okay, time to drop in. Just have a few more. Let's see where else I can drop in. These are looking so pretty over here. I think that was a petal, I'm not sure. It is now. Look how bright and happy that looks. I want to share the paper I'm using. I got this paper off of Amazon, and it was 60 sheets of watercolor paper, 100% cotton. I was really surprised with the price. It was less than $30. I think it's 8.5 by 11 paper. It has a really good texture. It's a different kind of texture than what I'm used to, but it works really well, and it handles water fairly well. It's going to be great for line and wash. It handled lifting pretty good. I was surprised how well it handled for the price. So if you're looking for some really pretty inexpensive watercolor paper that's cotton, this is a good brand to try. Okay, we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to add some leaves. Okay, this is dry. So for the leaves, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the blossoms. I'm going to do a little of the dark green or the sap green, and then I'm going to follow it up with a little bit of this lemon yellow and let it just blend on the paper, just like that. So I'm going to use 2 brushes again, so I'm not wasting paint between each brush stroke. So let's start with some of this sap green. Again, don't worry about staying inside the lines. It just doesn't matter. Now let's add some of this yellow, this lemon yellow, just a little on each one. This is just such a fun painting. Some lemon yellow. Oops, wrong one. Put it in the sap green. This is what I call just slapping paint on paper. It's just so much fun. Just getting color on here. Bright, beautiful colors. some yellow. Some of it went over the pink. That's perfectly fine. See how fast this is? I'm not really concerned about where I'm dropping it in. I'm just getting some green and yellow. Oh, it's just so pretty. Look how happy that is. It's so happy. Okay, let this dry. Okay, this is dry enough. I can certainly work on the bird without touching any of the leaves. So I've got some Quinn Gold here and some Scarlet Lake or Scarlet Red, and I've kind of got a mixture in the middle here of a combination of the two, and it makes such a pretty kind of orangey color. So that's going to be our bird. I'll do his beak in probably lemon yellow and a bit. Such a pretty color. And while it's still wet, I'm going to go after some of this Scarlet Lake and then just drop in some darker values here and there. Let it blend on the paper. Let it do what it wants to do. I'm going to do a little lifting here, right there, just to make it a little bit lighter in this little chest area. I'm just using a damp brush and just lifting and wiping. Let's lift a little here too, get a little lighter highlight. A little lighter here. This paper lifts pretty good. Okay, let's do the beak. I've got some lemon yellow here. If it touches that orange, that's perfectly fine. Just let it bleed over. Oh, it's starting to look so pretty. Okay, this needs to dry before I start in on the branches. We're almost done. I added a couple of colors in the mix, burnt umber and neutral tint. So for the branch, I've got burnt sienna, burnt umber, and a little bit of neutral. I wanted to get it a little bit darker. If you have a Van Dyke brown or some other color, or make your own browns, there's a lot of mixes that can make gorgeous browns. So I'm just going to start painting the branches. Again, I'm not worried about staying within the lines. It's going to look better if I don't. I'm just painting one side of the branch with this darker color. Now I'm going to come in with this lighter mix up here and just drop it in. The darker is going to be on the bottom side because we're assuming the sun's coming from the top. And then get this lighter, which has just got more water. Just dabbing it in. I love to watch it blend on the paper. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, we need to do the little claws. I think I'll use some of this brown for that. It's just going to kind of all mix in anyway. Just a little bit. That's good. And I'm going to let this dry and step away and come back and see what I think it needs. Okay, for the eye, I've got just a little bit of neutral tint on here. You could use a black pen if you wanted, and I'm just going to make a little dot here for the eye, leaving some of that white to kind of outline. I think that's good enough. And I think I'm going to add a little bit darker pink, just only in the centers. So I'm going to bring my pink back, my Quin Red, wake it up. And I'm just going to just dab just in the center. And then I'm going to take a damp brush and just kind of smoosh it around. That's my technical term. Yeah, I think it needed that. I'm going to do a little bit more of this dark green the same manner. Just add just a little bit of the sap green to get more values. And the leaves, just kind of at the base. And then a damp brush and kind of smoosh it. I'm not going to do much there. Just want some more values here. Sometimes just a dot is all you need. Oh yeah, I think that's what it needed. Just needed some variation of values. Now for the branch, I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I've got this darker. I'm just going to go right along the bottom. Okay, let's let this dry. Okay, it's dry and I've got a matte on it. It's really pretty. You could do some background. On a previous one I did, I used some phthalo blue and did the background. I think it turned out really pretty, but I don't know, I kind of like it like this. I like it, it's just so bright. You could also do some splatter for the background. A little bit of the pink, some of this, what is this? This is Quin Red. Let's see if I can do some splatter. Just a little bit. Just don't overdo it, which I usually do.